Excellent. So good morning, everyone. So happy to have you all here today. My name is Shelley Cox. I'm the founder of Your Business Compass. My passion is guiding small business owners like yourselves into sustainable business practices. My background is a winemaker, so I had 20 years winemaking in operations, and then had two small businesses throughout COVID. So that was a fun 5 or 6 years. And now, really excited about providing those lessons and giving people the support that they need as they go through their business journey. So I know that many of you may be established business owners or, soon after the startup phase. So I guess, if you've already found some success or an idea that works and you're trying to work through that, but knowing that you need to grow and scale to achieve your, bigger, scarier business goals. But you may be stuck on how to sort of get through to that next stage. So, what we're looking at today will really be uncovering what we see as being a really clear roadmap forward, and help you create that for you, because it's going to look a little bit different for everybody because of where we're at, our experiences, our skill sets, and also our businesses. Everything is really different. So, so today we'll have a look and see through the use of our focus quiz that I've developed to give you a sense of, are you ready for growth? Are you ready for scaling? That will really come out of it. And then we'll go through how you assess that. I'll introduce you to the quiz and how it's set out. And that's included in our online course. So whether it's the online course plus mentoring or on its own, or the guided intake, which is a set intake. So in July and January each year, we'll take on a small number of people to guide them through weekly as they go through the course. So it's a little bit more intense and more accountability. But it all does start with that focus quiz to know where your strengths lie, but also maybe where your challenges are as well, because I think that's the best thing that I've found by looking at moving forward in business, is that sort of self-assessment as you as a business leader, but also as a business, knowing where your strengths are, but also more importantly, those watch out challenge points. So I think to be more aware can help you scale in the long term. So I guess when we look at, scaling and growing our businesses, I mean, if everything's ticking over, the success is there, all of those key performance indicators, everything's ticking along, then sure, continue doing the same. But if we're looking at growing and taking our business from, one level to the next level that we see, usually we'll have to change something. So things will have to be tweaked, things will have to be worked on. So, but what we do find that sometimes without a really clear plan or this is from my personal experience as well, there can be just so many priorities. It's overwhelming. We're trying to work in a business, but while scale and grow it as well. So looking at the future goals plus sort of current goals. So then, you can find that there's some systems breakdowns, or people get burnt out, or financially it's losing, money in the now for the at the risk of, future growth. So really it can kind of be a bit of a cluster, whatever. So really sort of acknowledging those things and assessing where those business foundations lie. So that's what Your Business Compass is really about. It's about going, why there's 6? I don't know. I just went, look, if I'm starting a business again, what would I give? What do I see as being those really key foundational core pillars of good business that makes sense, that they're not, there's no fluff and stuff that really doesn't move the needle, because I think we can get caught up in things that sound really exciting and sexy. Sometimes that can lead us down a wrong path. So these 6 core topics we have a look at in our focus quiz. So then you go, okay, I've got a handle on these bits, these areas here, but I really need to build on, focus my energies maybe invest in this area of my business? So I'll just share the screen now. If it'll let me. Oh yeah, here we go. So I'll just show you how the focus quiz is set out. So hang on. Share my screen anyway. Right. Let's just talk about. So when we take our business focus quiz, so you'll get the link to this quiz here. Take the quiz. So it's basically, so this is part of the online course. So whenever you you join that, whether it's through the course on its own course, plus 4 mentoring sessions with one of our Compass guides, usually quarterly, or the guided intake, you always have access to this. So you can use it as a way to check in and go, am I on task? You can say, okay, brand identity, it's close, it could use some tweaking. Yes, we've got it delivered. Branding is consistent. We review annually, that's good. So you go through these questions, and then let me change to the other window. Oh, tabs. That's okay. Then what you'll go through, so once you've gotten your, oopsies, infinity, no. Sorry, guys. So once you've done the quiz, it'll say, right, based on your answers, here's where you really need to focus your energies next. So of the 6 core topics that we have, do I have them? Yep. So here are the 6 core topics. The focus is, can we make sure that brand identity, financial savvy, and marketing strategies are really taken care of? So if you do the quiz and perhaps your systems are failing the most, but you still got some work to do in financial savvy, that's where I would say get financial savvy under wraps first, but under control first, and then look at your systems. So it's kind of structured like 1 to 6 in terms of priority, I guess. So so these are the 6 core topics. So brand identity, that's the heart of what you do. It's your why. You know, Simon Sinek says, know your why, and then the rest, you know, goes with it. I suppose the how, the what, the who. Financial savvy. So this is where, from past learnings, have been really burnt in not understanding, not managing, like cash flow, profit margins, all sorts, not knowing your numbers, because it's maybe not as sexy or as interesting, but it has so much, you know, importance, and it sort of leads into, well, if you've got your numbers under control and you know what your financial goals are for the business, and if you know what your brand goals are for the business, then you know what kind of marketing strategy to employ, and then also what to invest there. So it really has, you know, underpins a lot of the decisions that you make going forward. It will underpin, can you hire somebody in your team, or does it have to be you for the moment? Can you afford that subscription for a project management tool or a e-commerce website, or is it that the money will tell you, the numbers will tell you? So really a key idea is just to get, so the business focus quiz will give you an answer on these. So based on, you know, there's 4 questions per topic. That's right. And then at the end of it, what you'll get is a, you get this strategy guidebook. So this basically just pulls out, gives you a background into what each of the topics are about and how that could link into an example business. So I've got some of those examples in there too. And then make sure that goes into this. So for example, if you really hadn't got a clear idea of what your brand story was, your brand identity, as part of the tools that we send you with your report is this brand story kit. So you'll get a workbook that's connected to and supporting you in building up that area of challenge or need. So a brand story kit will go through, some key checklists on what you can do. We use small business examples because I think it helps people to get into the frame of, well, how can this be applied to me? We've got some goal planning templates in there, and really kind of that's tailored to what that area of that challenge for you is. So we really want to make sure that once you take the quiz, you've got ideas and plans to actually work through what your area of critical focus is. So I guess, luckily, if you're part of the webinar today, you'll get that you've registered, you'll get that link for you. But it's also available as a standalone quiz that you can take. So that's $29. Or, as I said, it's included indefinitely in your 12-month online course. So whichever program you have. Because I think that's where, it gives you. So the quiz is at starting point. So I do have a clarity quiz, which is a simpler version, which kind of is a base level. So potentially not for businesses who are more established and looking to scale, but perhaps businesses that are in their first or second year of business, to really just kind of, introduce them to these topics. So hopefully if you're looking to scale, you've already got a really good handle on, I guess, those foundations of business. But this is more trying to get you to have a look at the what of what you need to do. And then when we go into our online course and the guided intake program, that's more about the how and the support, and actually implementing it. Because if you're working in your business and trying to work on your business as well, I know that is really hard, because you've still got the day-to-day things to work on. So this is why it's built over a 12-month program, to be easy on ourselves, to be, not over promising, change will happen in 2 months, because we've got family, we've got our work, within our business as well. Change and growth does take time, and we need to be patient with ourselves. My previous experience has been go, at the expense of family, finances, mental health. So I understand we feel that we have to rush on some of these things, but I really want to just reassure people that building up these skills and foundations will not be in vain for growth going forward, and it will lead to more sustainable growth. So I hope that makes sense and you get an idea of what that focus quiz can deliver as that kind of first, right, where am I at? What do I need to focus on now out of those 6 core topics, with the main ones being, brand identity, financial savvy, and marketing strategies? Where's my main focus for now? And then if I've got a handle on all of those, then let's flesh it out and let's develop our systems, our teams. Our Reflect, Evolve, Scale is about building into our business those points of reflection, those points of, so rather than waiting for an annual review where we have a look and say, oh, do you know what, we've been pricing things too cheaply, building those reviews in monthly, well, you can adjust that, and that will actually have a huge impact on your business. So they're all those skills that we want to learn and develop and grow before we're ready to scale. Because by not developing those and then jumping it, it'd be like being a parent. So I've got 3 children, but it'd be almost, and one of them's 3.5 years old. It'd be almost like you suddenly get given a toddler and you're in toddler mode straight away. Like, we've eased our way into it. We've built skills up by having 2 older children, but also from newborn to baby to infant and then toddler. You've got the skills to be able to handle the tantrums, we've had that, it's school holidays, so we've had that every day. But only by going through it and building up my skill set can I handle that in a constructive and a supportive way, while understanding that it's toddlers and their big emotions, and they want chocolates and lollipops, and that's not possible all the time. But at least I've built up we've built the framework up, and we've built the skill set to be able to handle those. So I find business is quite a lot like parenthood, actually. Lots of challenges that are quite similar. So once you've taken, have gone through those core topics, know where you need to focus on, then we look at how can we improve it. So I guess some of the examples that I would give for brand identity. So one of the examples that we have in our guidebook is Sophie, who's a passionate cafe owner. So for example, let's say Sophie's Cafe is known for its cozy atmosphere, fresh, locally sourced food, and community focus. Her brand is all about warmth, quality, and supporting local farmers. How can that translate, and what sort of things can help bring that brand identity into the business? It's about, friendly smiles when people come in. There's local art in the cafe. There's daily specials that highlight regional produce. So that reinforces her brand identity, which is really strong around that local community focus. And so then that means that's an authentic, business feeling. So just put yourself in, you might have one that's in your local community that you go, it's just a good vibe here. And I think those vibes aren't by accident. We had our co-working space, Workspace Barossa, and people were like, oh, I really like the decoration, the paintings and whatnot that we had in there, but it feels really good. And I think that was not just because of the aesthetics of it that played a part, but it was also the intention that was set by, myself and Sam, my husband, about having somewhere that anyone is welcome and that we want them to do good things. So that was our sort of like hashtag do good things. I was like, as long as it's legal, I don't care what you do in here. But I really wanted it to be an open and welcoming space for people to achieve what they wanted to achieve. So I think that's the vibe that people got when they were in there. And that was a reflection of the brand identity. The next one, so if you look at financial savvy, so understanding your income, your expenses, profit margins, that helps you make better and more informed decisions. So for example, Sophie with cafe owner, she needs to manage cash flow, especially seasonal changes. You think of, the price of eggs fluctuating. So she needs to track expenses for herself, for the produce, for staff, the supplies, and price the menu accordingly to make sure that she's profitable. So the actions that she would take to be a sustainable cafe would be checking sales reports. So that would need to be weekly at least, managing stock levels, so probably daily or every couple of days to avoid waste, things expiring, those sorts of things. Planning the staff scheduling, so, using things like a spreadsheet or deputy or something like that, which is an app to manage those things, means that all of those feed into that financial viability of the business. Because she wants to be able to manage her cash flow, pay her bills on time, reinvest in her business and plan for quieter months. So that's kind of one of the things that I see being, I think, a surprise to people is that and a disappointment, but it's kind of like there'll always be ebbs and flows. And so what we want to build into our business is not to be like, I'm really down this month. So for example, for some businesses, June might be busting because you've got sales and you've got ability to be able to move a whole heap of stock, a big lot of cash flow. For others, it may be that your key customers really just are treading water and holding until the start of the new financial year, and then they're able to invest in whatever your products are or services are. So kind of understanding and seeing that in your finances and reviewing that, being okay with that is also helpful because it doesn't bum you out. But then you can also plan and go, if you're looking at cash flow projections and go, look, we're going to be a bit slow in X month. What's something that we can do to mitigate that or to weather that? So you might, scale back on if it was a cafe, a day, like if you say, look, Tuesdays, it's a really hit and miss. We don't know. Let's close it for winter or something like that, for example, so that you can just manage and weather that. So if you're not looking at that data, if you're not looking at interpreting that regularly, then you will find, your cash flow will suffer. You'll probably get bummed out, and your mental health will suffer, which is not what we want in a sustainable business. So I can't emphasize enough, as uncomfortable as it is and can be, like I avoided for quite a while the numbers side of things, and that got us into a lot of difficulty, and so it's not worth it. So and also these things can be, these lessons can be taught. So don't worry about not being able to understand it easily and quickly. What we hopefully do is give you the tools to be able to learn from the bottom up. So we're not going into, so in our online course, for example, I've got 3 levels. So basically our Explorer level is that introduction to making sure you've got really solid foundations, and explains things from the ground up. And then once you get into more of that evolution of your business and scaling, then you can move into like the intermediate and the expert levels, which just dives deeper into it for you. So don't be worried. It's as clear and basic, and giving examples as I can. So I think that's really helpful if we can kind of see how things in business, these operational, topics work in real business situations. The next one that we would look at after brand identity, financial savvy, is marketing strategies. So you want to promote your business and connect with your customers, your target audience, and build up those relationships and sales, because that's what keeps it turning over. So if we look at Sophie, who's a cafe owner, so she might use social media to post their daily specials, so that engages with their community. It's an easy, repetitive thing, but is also dynamic, to highlight local suppliers as well. She could tag them in it, and then also sponsors local events to increase her visibility. So it might be, the local football, netball club that's, she won't do a bit of catering for them, or do grazing plates and things like that. So posting those, pictures of her food and her cafe, responding to customer reviews, promoting events on social media, keeps her cafe top of mind. Sorry, my thing's just beeping at me. And attracts new customers, but also reinforces that branding and that connection with community for repeat business as well. So ensuring, you've got that steady flow of customers. So again, if she didn't know what her numbers were and what she could spend sort of time-wise or investment-wise in marketing, then that kind of flow wouldn't happen. It could be like, oh, I'm going to, spend $10,000 on a video on a photo shoot, and then put in a magazine article that's, from my experience, one that was like $500 a month, which didn't get the return. It wasn't my target audience. I wasted a lot of money there. So, by not being, as aware of the needs of the business from a finance point of view, but also that target market, it leads to wasted energy and wasted funds. So I just think that's wasteful. So I want to make sure that it's investments are purposeful, and are going to actually help us in our businesses. So once those 3 core topics are like under control, then we look at the ways we round out our business, which is next one is leadership and teams. So effectively managing and motivating your team to create a positive work environment. Now, if you're a solopreneur, that team may be colleagues that you work with or network with, or your accountant, your bookkeeper, you may have someone doing the social media management, but you still have a team around you and you still are a leader in your business. So don't think of yourself as not a leader, even if you're a solo. So in that, Sophie, the cafe owner, would manage cafe staff, provide training, fostering a team spirit, clear communication with his daily specials, if there's bookings, those sorts of things. But she would check in with their staff, give clear instructions, create a supportive atmosphere, because you want that customer service to be great. You want that operations to be, to be great. Imagine, well, you've probably had an experience where you've been in a cafe where you're just like, the vibe's off, systems are all over the place, things get lost, orders get lost, you're waiting for your something's missed off of the docket or something like that, so you've all got your coffees but you haven't got your cakes and that sort of thing. So by motivating, training, communicating, that's how she can lead her team. So just your hubby working on the car outside, and then also money as well. So it saves money and time if you've got those efficiencies, that clear communication. If you've got poor training, poor communication, customers are unhappy, what are the chances you're going to have to say, don't worry, that one's on us? So that's you losing money in that business exchange. So we really want to make sure that we're leading our business in the best way. The next one that we touch on, which is, one of my passions as an operational winemaker, was systems and processes. I really like efficiency and less stress and that sort of repeatability. So you look at things that you repeat every hour, every day, and really they're the things that we really want to streamline or automate or delegate. But I also don't want to have a system just for the sake of having a system. So for Sophie, for example, she might have systems for ordering supplies, scheduling staff, and managing customer flow. So it may look like checklists for opening and closing. So it's like you don't have to think every day, oh, what do I have to do? Do I have to unlock the door, put the air conditioner on? Do I need to do so having a checklist that's worked through once, set it out, laminate it, do like good laminator. Having a set procedure, so then it's the expectations are set. So opening and closing, the set procedure. She might have a software for handling the ordering and managing inventory. She may be using Xero or something like that, because you can do that on there, or it may be in her point of sale. There might be a in that app to be able to do that. So saving time, making sure it's streamlined. It allows her to focus on the customer interactions and other important tasks. By having those procedures means that you can also then delegate. So one of my, because I do a lot of systems, one of my learnings was not to automate too soon, because if you don't know, so I just go like spreadsheet, list, start simple. And then once you know what the workings are, what the needs are, then you can make a better choice about what app or software or system is best for you. So as my husband, who's a computer programmer, has said to me, go old school for a little bit and then get ready to implement. So then at least you know what your needs are, and you can better assess that. Whereas I've done a few times, started out with seeing the system in my head of how it can all be automated, and it's like, let's just do it first. So I spent too much time focusing on that than the actual doing and learning from the process. So that's why systems is a little bit further down the list, because we can make do for a bit without that. But it is still part of that base, that foundation of growing. So we look at this next part, which is reflect, evolve, and scale. So you really want to regularly assess and review your business, adapt to changes, plan for long-term growth, and check in with that plan. How's that going? So with Sophie, the cafe owner, she'd be looking at sales data, customer feedback, market trends. And that would probably be, maybe it's a Monday morning she does that. Or it would be regular that you would put that in place every fortnight. She plans for seasonal changes. So foods, weather, we're doing outdoor seating now that the weather's fine or whatever. I've not worked in a cafe, but I sit there and drink coffee quite a lot. But, thinking of new ideas to attract customers. So giving yourself the time, which I find is really, really hard when you're working in the business and it feels like you're not productive. But I'm just going to say it is worth it. That whole saying of a stitch in time saves 9. So with our e-commerce and online store, I would work probably 60 hours a week in that and not stop, because my brain was just going, and I felt like I had to keep doing things because otherwise I was going to fail, let people down, things weren't going to happen or work. But doing that for 3 years is not sustainable. And then not with a newborn baby and the infant as well. But also that time and reflection means that the way going forward is actually more productive. It's going to move the needle more. It'll be more, it is more intentional. So allowing time and space in the schedule, especially as a busy business owner, to reflect, see how you can adapt to changes, is really what's going to be the key to helping you grow, which is hard to take when you're a busy A-type personality that wants to get lots of things done and keep busy. So going back to the example of Sophie, so she might, note, oh, lots of people are asking for oat milk, almond milk, I don't know. Lots of people are asking for these things. Maybe we can have a new menu item that will, be good for them and maybe attract some new people. In those slower periods that you could sort of see if you collect that and report on that data, she might be able to plan a special event during that slow period. It might be a sip and wine paint night or something like that. So to keep that business fresh and relevant, but also to help with those, the slower periods that she's seen in that financial, data review part of the process. So then that way you keep being creative, you keep being competitive and growing even in challenging times. So that's what sustainable business will do. All of these things, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it's about just work through one bit at a time, and it's like a muscle. You learn how to do these things. You learn how to build those skills and then create something that will last and will survive. I mean, we're not going to touch wood. I don't think we'll have a COVID again, but what COVID really did was highlight the inability of businesses the businesses that did pivot, change, react, amend, they're probably more likely to be still in business. The ones that said we're just going to shut down for 6 months and didn't actually practice having to get different government emails to say these are the changes to the restrictions, and they're having to put things in place in your own business to reflect that activity actually helped build businesses that could actually pivot and adapt and change. So if you just shut down and said, nah, not doing it, too hard, or we've lost everything, those businesses are more likely to not be in business anymore. Those business owners won't have learnt those skills, and so they're not probably likely to thrive without going through and learning those skills again. So I guess just going back to what our support is that we can offer for businesses. So myself and Compass Guides, so they're small business mentors who have worked in and around small businesses for a significant amount of time. They're passionate about helping small business owners and to really build up these foundations. So rather than it being just me talking to people all the time, I mean, I love talking to people, but really wanting to make sure that people can connect with other small business mentors that may be a better fit for them at that point in their business. So our guided intake, we have 6 monthly, so it was in July. So we're just starting, and then January with the next intake. So what we'll do is 6 months of weekly group coaching. So that will go through, so the first month we'll go through branding identity, the second month we go through financial savvy, the third month marketing strategies, and so on. So for 6 months it's weekly coaching, and then all that time you still have access to the online course that you can work through the different modules as you want. But really the weekly coaching will bring it back to one topic at a time, one subtopic at a time. So really working through that to give time to work on it and work through it, because we know how hard that can be, so that you can build up those skills and with support as well. So it's not, you can do it self-paced and do it as you like, But then at the end of that 6 months, you'll have had all of these foundations, a chance to work through them, a chance to ask questions to, myself and the Compass guides to actually build that sustainable business, not feel overwhelmed because you've got that support there as well. And then the second 6 months is basically sort of jumping into the online course to work through and flesh out the rest of those foundations, but then you can move on to the intermediate level, with also being part of the community and having monthly knowledge boosts. So monthly group coaching. So it just sort of eases off in that second 6 months so that you've got time to be able to create a well-performing and a well-structured business that is ready to scale. So that's kind of, we're about 40 minutes. So that's kind of how we'll leave it today. Send me, messages on Facebook, Instagram, or email. So shelley@yourbusinesscompass.com.au. If you have any questions, and make sure that you have a look at that focus quiz to go through and really get an understanding of where you're at in your business, where you need to focus your energies, your investment, your time right now, because it will change, all the time as business changes. But know that, we're here and we've got some really practical and strategic ways to help you grow and scale your business when you're ready. Cool. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.